Hi guys, I'm
Righto.
Ray
So,
Moyle. Oh, yeah.
oh, I'll fuck
Hi
that up
guys,
for you.
I'm Ray Moyle. I'm a professional boxer and a former international boxer for Ireland.
Thanks for hopping in with us this morning, Ray. Um, what we thought we'd talk about today with you is looking at communication skills and what you've found over the years in people you've worked with and people who've been surrounded you. What's the positive aspects of the way people have worked with you in the past that have helped with either training or injuries and things like that?
I think one of the main things is to be upfront with everything and not to be hiding behind anything. Like if I had plenty of injuries growing up in my career, and I think the physios that told me and the coaches that would have told me to take the day off, take the week off, rather than trying to work through it, just for the sake of getting through it. I think it's a lifelong thing really, and I think trying to trying to 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 make a mockery of something or trying to just play off something. Like I remember playing football when I was a young fella too, and I used to come with sore hamstrings or sore calves, whatever it was, and the coach would say, "I will run it off there, you'll be all right." You'd end up being out for 2 weeks regardless. So even if you took the one day off, you'd have been back the next day. So I think to be upfront is number one, and then I think you need to be able to relate. Um, you need to be able to relate to the person that's talking to you. So in the Irish team, it was Billy Welch, whatever. When we used to come with sore hands, he'd show us his hands, and his hands used to be all buckled over. He said, "Oh, I remember I had an injury like that, and I done such a thing." So that was one thing. And then the physios that we were dealing with were at such a high level that they had seen all the injuries nearly that we were coming with before. So it was, and once they fixed you once or twice, it was very easy to buy into what they were telling you. So
Mhm.
we had the confidence in them after the success they had.
Brilliant. And looking back at those injuries and you had it over the years, and I suppose one of the things we've looked at with other athletes is that idea of sort of when you're fit and healthy, you're part of the team. When you're injured, you can be, and it's not with all systems, but some systems you can be sort of on the outer as such. You able to relate to anything like that at all?
Yeah, and I know it's probably a little bit different from me because I'm speaking from a boxing perspective, and it's an individual sport. But we still had a team, a core team of about 16 to 20 athletes that were always there. So there was number one and number two constantly. So we all worked together, and I can't imagine what it would be like on a football team where you're all one, or any other sports team like that. But even when we were injured, it was it was so isolating, and it was horrible. We were sitting out, um, doing our isolation moves or our static moves, trying our rehab really.
Yeah.
If our wrist was at us, we were with our squidgy ball or our hands in ice. We were sitting down with our hands in ice, with a squidgy ball, watching the other lads kill each other sparring. So it was a complete contrast. And usually, if the team is 16, there might have been 2 to 3 out at any time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's only one session. Let's say the other session might be a track session. You're sitting on a bike, just pedaling away at 50%. You might as well
Yeah.
be sitting at home. You're sitting at home. You were just
Yeah.
trying to do something. And so there was a core of 16 athletes, and maybe 2 or 3 in isolation, trying to on rehab, trying to get back working together. But it was 2 different teams really. You
Yeah.
weren't involved in the crack. You couldn't even relate to the training. And even when it came to dinner time. So we're all had to make weight, and we always watch what we were eating, and you even felt bad then eating because you weren't working hard enough to burn it off
Yeah.
after. So
Yeah.
like it affected everything. You couldn't even mix with the core group. So to be injured, then you were sort of left to the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to. The team was good and it was strong, and it wasn't the same people injured all the time. So it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it kept moving. But it's part of sport and it's part of life. Like everything doesn't go rosy and everything doesn't go so smooth. You
Yeah.
have to do the rehab, even though no one likes it. I'm speaking for myself when I say no one likes it. I used to hate doing the small isolation movements just for the sake of it. But
Yeah.
really deep down, it has to be done to get back into the core group.
I think that's really important too. Is that like injury isn't just a wrist or whatever. It does overtake everything. So whether it's your food and it is that I shouldn't be here eating while the rest of the boys aren't and things like that. And it's I suppose from a physio perspective, it is something that we do need to understand and realize is that it's not just the training. It's other aspects of people's lives that are affected by their injury and their inability to do what they want to do.
And that's it. Like even, and I'm only speaking on training terms. I'm not
Mhm.
talking about missing major championships. You know, European championships, world championships, Olympic games, all Ireland finals, whatever it is.
Yep.
You know, I've missed out on some massive tournaments because of injuries and ongoing injuries, and that's far worse than eating it on your own at the table. You know, missing these championships, and it might be a year again before this happens.
Yep.
And you have to live with yourself for that, and you have to try and get yourself right again. And I remember I was out for a couple of months, and I was thinking, you know, it was time to get back punching with my wrist. And I was thinking, what if it goes again? I'll be out for another 6 months. And I hadn't even
Mhm.
started. And I was telling
Yeah.
myself this, you know, because it had lasted so long that my body probably got so in tune with this pain. I remember you actually did an exercise with me with the mirrors, you know, to try and to change the way I was thinking because
Yeah.
you know, my hands, you know, on the mirror was trying to train my brain, and it obviously worked because you know after a few weeks after that, I never
Went
had
back
that
to home
injury
gigs.
again after a few years, you know. So that was only one aspect of it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, Ray.
no bother at all. That was absolutely, and anytime we can ever help again. Again, I'm only speaking from my own experiences, just the way things affected me or the way I found communication.
Brilliant. Mate, you're an absolute legend.
Thanks very much, Scotty.
Cheers, Ray. Thanks, mate.